Hello YouTube world. So now that I've finally figured out how to do the whole video editing thing, I think I can finally get into a routine of doing this. But then I had trouble figuring out what I wanted to talk about today. So this is the only idea I had. It's all the things that I've learned from John Green. We'll call this part 1 because I have a feeling this may be a reinstallment because there's so many things you can learn from John Green and his books. This one is about, well, spoiler alert because I am going to be talking about his books. I just finished reading An Abundance of Catherines, and it's about this kid named Colin. He has dated an abundance of Catherines. He's dated 19 total girls named Catherine from the time he first started dating, like age 8 or something. I don't remember his age, but until 18. And he's trying to figure out, he is a former child prodigy, because supposedly that not all people who are child prodigies go into their adulthood being prodigies or geniuses. So he says he's a former child prodigy that is not that smart. He can just do anagramming a lot, like making different words out of already set words and phrases, and he can speak 11 or 16 languages. Don't know why it's 11 or 16, but it's either one of those two, or any of the numbers in between there. But that's not the point. The point is, throughout this entire book, he is trying to find meaning. He wants to make a difference. He wants to mean something to the world. He wants to leave something behind that people can identify him with. And the one thing that he's trying to do is discover the mathematical equation to predicting relationships. So he goes through this entire book, and this girl named Lindsay helps him with this formula, and he eventually comes up with this formula to predicting his past relationships. And towards the end of the book, he realizes that it doesn't work for future relationships, that you can't really figure that out. And John Green always gets me thinking, and that's why I love his books so much, and just him in general. He's an amazing thinker, and he's completely brilliant in a wonderful sort of way. I love brilliance, especially his. What would you do if you could predict how a relationship would turn out? You know, it's such a chin-strokeable thing to think about. You know, you look back on because hindsight is always 20/20, and I see all of these relationships that I started out with just to the beginning of college. You know, my best friend Sarah and I are still strong as ever today. And I would have thought that she would have been the one I would have lost touch with, and our friend Jessica. And I would have been, you know, like this to this day. But Jessica and I and Sarah as well have all lost touch. And it's really quite sad to think about. But at the time I thought, you know, we were roommates at first, and then she left, and then Sarah and I were roommates, and even my crazy living habits, Sarah and I still stuck close, and we're very close to this day. We talk every day. And I look back on my romantic relationships, you know, even to the very first one, I thought that one was going to be forever. And even the one where I was engaged, I thought that one was going to be forever too, but they weren't. All relationships seemingly end. And it's kind of sad in a way, but it's also very wonderful because I've taken so much from every relationship I've ever had. All the meaningful relationships. I can't say I've gotten anything out of high school. I was just getting by in high school, trying to survive. But how would you live? How would you act if your relationships were predictable? That of all of the infinite amount of possibilities that you could get from sharing your life with one person, that you could pinpoint that one possibility that is going to be the direct root of your relationship, how would you live? I can't even fathom that, but I love pondering it, because it's something to think. You can't predict the future. You can't predict anything about a relationship. You just have to be, you know? Be you. And hope that that person can accept you for you, regardless of how you are. I've got a lot of dirty bits in my life about me hidden beneath this wonderful smile. There's a lot of darkness that I'm not always very proud of, but I must embrace regardless of how much and how comfortable it is. And I have people in my life who embrace my darkness with me and help me get through it. And I think that's all that matters. To hell with trying to predict and manage and navigate your way through all of the infinite possibilities of a friendship or a romantic or any kind of relationship. You just have to go with the flow. Just go with it. Yeah. I don't want to know everything. It takes all the fun of discovering out of things.